And today we're going to talk about why Donald Trump seeking the nomination of one of the federal parties, the Republican Party, and we're also going to talk about his downright dirty and racist mind, and why he ignores and ignoring one of the most informed reporters, Jorge Ramos. And we will also going to talk about his misogynistic views on women. This is an issue that is not supposed to be talked about across the aisle, across the floor of the House of Representatives and the floor of the Senate. Why? Why are we having this discussion? Because the federal election is coming up 12 months from now, or more than 12 months. It is an important discussion which talks about our future in this country, not only just as a citizen of this country, for everyone who are the citizen here in this country, and for those who are immigrants, whether you're legal or not, whether you are one of the 11.5 undocumented immigrants, whether you're the other immigrants who are documented and became citizens. It is the future of our country that we're talking about. So let's talk about Donald Trump. Why he's putting a lot of hot air. You know what I'm saying? He's putting a lot of hot air and being the mockery of everyone, and making sure that other candidates don't get the party endorsement and the party votes. Donald Trump has a power. He's a businessman, he has the money, and he has the backings of the conservatives. But we look into his policy. Remember what he said months ago, that he will build a giant wall on the southern borders of Mexico, and the southern borders of the United States, excuse me. And he would say that, oh, the federal government of Mexico would pay for it, and other governments will feel alienated about this. Here's the reason why no government would do such a thing. It is too risky. It is too much to ask for. The Mexican government wouldn't do that, and by all means, if Enrique Peña Nieto was there in Congress and in his office in his Zócalo, he would say to Mr. Trump, he said, "Señor Trump, you're just a crazy white American," which is on the point. Yes, it is true, but of course you're defending what is the rights of what is the right that you have on this country. On the point of getting rid of the 14th Amendment that is essential to our federal constitution, we look into why he has this argument. Oh, it's because immigrants who were born here shouldn't get the birthright mark, and other candidates are going forward with it. They believe, oh, it should be repealed. The question is, if you're going to repeal that, well, you're in trouble. First of all, it is already stamped in the federal constitution since Lincoln's death. It is the policies of the Republican Party since it was added in 1865. If you're going to get rid of that, you are facing a tumultuous opposition, including the Democrats, the highest court of the land, and the people. You cannot have a referendum because it is given and ratified that the state government has to ratify it, plus the federal government's legislature has to do that. So it's not a win for Trump. Earlier today, out over in Dubuque, Iowa, there was a news briefing with Donald Trump, and a very well-informed Hispanic American reporter, hailed from Mexico. He works with Univision, Jorge Ramos. Señor Ramos is a very well-known reporter of all Hispanic Americans all over the world. He trusts him because of his real good reports. And And earlier today, he was the first person to ask a question to Mr. Trump. He ignored him. And I do have the videos, and yeah, I think you have to listen to this. You have to listen to the videos, and mind you, it's very deplorable what he said.
Okay, who's next? Yeah, please. Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Go ahead. No, you don't. You haven't been called. Go back to Univision. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sit down, please. You weren't called.
So, it appears he was escorted out, which is, you're a journalist, yes, you're upset, but also, you do have the right. But why Trump had to do that? Because he had some hate with the Hispanic news channels and news networks like Univision, Telemundo, Unimas, and the quote that he said, which was a very offensive and derogatory. Go back to Univision. If I was him, I would have rescinded my candidacy. But it is what it is. That's Donald Trump. Partly because it's his mouth. Well, that's a foul mouth when it comes to immigrants. He preferred to have an American who will ask so many questions that those questions are hot air and cliche. He will have to trust Fox News because the Fox News details are true. Oh, by the way, to tell you outright, I'm a Republican, though I cannot vote because I'm, well, let's just say I'm undocumented. I am a Republican myself, though I am not affiliated with the Off the Planet Conservatives and Donald Trump's party style. I am one of the liberal Republicans whose ideas and job is, of course, the social issues. My social issues are a bit conservative, but when it comes to immigration, there has to be something comprehensive and to be done. Well, I'm not gonna stir this video away, but ignoring him and saying go back to Univision, this just tells us that Trump is doing something dangerous and also something that could really hurt the federal party itself, the Republican Party as a whole. Jeb Bush needs to do something about it. Get on the camp, get on the wagon, and do something about it. Because at the end of the day, Trump will not be trusted many months from now. His words are inflammatory. People are getting upset. This is, of course, he's stirring up the debate of course. But when we look into the scope of things, you need to be wise on what you're going to say out in the public, and of course, you need to have to accept reporters that is not American, that are that suits of the minority. Let's say the minority. I had to find some news, and sometimes I got to rely on Univision in terms of immigration. And the thing that it really bothers me is, what are we gonna do about it? Nothing. Well, unless if the federal government wants to do something about it. It is deplorable what Trump is doing. First of all, it's something that could not tolerate it. And deporting 11.5 million people, including the families, including them, is something that is strong against my heart. In the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're going to vote for presidency, choose someone who's wise enough to bring something. Do not vote for Donald Trump, for Christ's sakes, because our country will go down. Oh, by the way, if you're a Democrat, choose someone other than Hillary Clinton. And that is my video today, and we will see you soon, in a couple of months' time. Until then, au revoir, good night, peace.